Hey YouTube, it's Gundude73 making another episode of Knife Talk, and today we're going to be talking about blade thickness, mainly pertaining to folders, because fixed blades can just get it really just increases the amount of information for a Knife Talk video. So today we're going to be talking about thickness. Really, at least in my opinion, it's two main points sort of against each other. With thickness, you can go thin and have a knife that'll cut better, because it's thinner, it'll be going through the material easier, but it won't be as strong. Or you can have a knife that's thicker, which is not going to cut as well just by its nature because it's thicker, but it'll be stronger. And I have a spread out here from pretty much wafer thin to about the thickest folders I have. So, sorry about that. I'm not sure what this buck mic's out at, but it's really thin. I'd guess under a tenth, or at or under 1/10 of an inch. Now, when you get to a knife this thin, strength, you don't want to pry with this knife at all. At all. Will it cut? It'll cut very, very, very well. But it's basically a purebred slicer. Now, what I've come to notice is I tend to like knives that are sort of mid-range in terms of thickness. Nothing super thin, but nothing ultra thick. Like one of my favorite sizes that both the Tilt, the Military, and the Voyager are, they're all 4 millimeters thick. Now 4 millimeters is 0.156 inches, so it's over an eighth, but it's not like all the way to 0.2. In my opinion, when you get above 0.2 in a folder, you're encroaching on too thick. Now, grind has a lot to do with this too, but you can see the Military here, it's 4 mils back here, but the tip is pretty thin. The knife is only 4 mils, but it'll have enough strength to do what you need to do. I still wouldn't pry with it, I wouldn't pry with any folder, but it's really just a nice knife overall, I think. And with that thickness, you get some added strength, but it still will cut very well. And then you have like the Voyager here. Also 4 mils has that swedge on there, which I just talked about. And just a very nice thickness. This is going to be tough enough for what most people have to do. If this isn't tough enough, just grab a fixed blade, really. That should be tough enough for anyone, though. And one interesting thing here is the Sebenza, it's marketed as, or advertised, I should say, as an eighth of an inch or 0.125 inches. Now, to my eye, this almost looks about as thick as either of these knives, 4 mils. And I'll try and show you guys what I'm talking about. Sorry about the bumping around and whatnot. But you can see it's very close. When you get to differences between 0.125 and 0.156, it's almost semantics at that point. It's not like most people are going to say, oh my gosh, this one, it's so much weaker because it's, a fraction of an inch different. It's not, we're talking about differences under a tenth of an inch, 0.03, I think, different. Is that right? But either way, it's not that big of a deal for the most part. When I'm any of these knife talks, when you say the difference between a strong D10, a weak D10, a thick blade or a thin blade, it's not like it's a 2-inch thick blade versus a very thin blade or anything. It's really, the differences are minute but noticeable. And then you have knives like this, ZT. Is it super thick? Well, no, it's actually thinner than the Sebenza, which most people, even when people see this compared to the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, because they're so similar, they say, oh my gosh, I'm surprised the Para 2 is thicker. It is. It's, the difference between 0.121 and 0.156. But the thing with this, though, as opposed to the Para 2, is it holds its thickness the whole way. Swedge, not counting the swedge, here and here, the knife is the same thickness. Just barely at the tip, it terminates into a point. So this thing might not be super thick, but the way it's ground, And the way that spine is, the knife overall, it maintains its thickness. So I mean, this tip is thicker than most of these other tips on here. Maybe not the Sebenza though. The Sebenza is a pretty stout tip. So, thanks for watching, guys. It's another episode of Knife Talk. I appreciate the views. Requests are welcome, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.